Well, that was interesting. I said in the pregame that they look like they play like the LA Lakers of the '80s, and they certainly showed that in the second half. Give them a lot of credit. C.J. Carter kind of got it going. Felt like at halftime we really controlled the pace, the tempo. Really got it going late in the second half to make a good run. But at the same time, it felt like we should have been up by about 18-20. I said to Austin Hanson on the way out, or on the way to the locker room. And then early in the second half, I mean, we had like really, really good looks, wide open looks that we missed, and then it felt like we just settled for jumpers as well. You know, instead of getting to the rim, their opponents shoot 46% from the field on the year, and we just settled in, I thought. And that's, you kind of live by the sword and die by the sword. When you're 8 for 13 from the three in the first half, you know, then you just start cranking them up. And all year we've done a great job loving the rim and liking the three. And we started loving the three there for a stretch. You know, I made some mistakes. We should have definitely did more 2-2-1, drop 2-3 zone, just to try to get them off attack, because it just felt like they were a wave coming downhill there for a while. And quite frankly, I shortened the bench. You know, DJ Davison playing the second half, and some of those guys, and we probably extended a few of those guys too long, and we just looked like we were shot. But at the same time, those guys got to respond, you know, and it's league play. We just looked comfortable, you know, and that's not necessarily what you want, you know, when we were up by 12. And it was just like we were happy exchanging baskets instead of, you know, putting the screws to somebody. And going back a week ago or 5 days ago to Milwaukee, that's what we kept talking about during that game. Let's put the screws to somebody. Let's finish them off, because we hadn't shown that. And certainly we didn't do that tonight. But Omaha played great. They had some guys really step up. Obviously Carter, the Erickson kid, or I'm sorry, where is he at here? Yeah, Erickson went 2 for 3 in the second half, made 2 huge threes, I thought. We come back and tie it up. They go inside to Jake White, who played his 4th game. He's a really good player. I thought he had a great game, going 4 for 5 from the field. But certainly really disappointed when you allow a team to go shoot 60% in the second half, 17 for 28, and shoot 24 free throws. I mean, you're not going to get that done very often. So with that, any questions?
I asked the guys, and Brandon said that he felt that they kind of stagnated, and that's where it happened. Now, you mentioned they got comfortable. And I'd asked them, I'll ask you. You guys had good flow, good mojo. It seemed like you're moving well off the ball, getting fast, hitting aggressive.
Yeah.
14-minute mark. Is it because maybe the comfortability? They said they got hit by the little couple shots. Do you think they were too comfortable that when they got hit, they were on their heels because of it?
I think there's. I just think that's part of sports, right? Like sometimes when I go back to our game when I was at Nebraska, get to Ohio State in the Big Ten tournament. You're up by. What were we up, 17 or whatever, and you just kind of, and I feel like our guys get like that for whatever reason, and it shouldn't be like that. I mean, it's just not like, that's when you really, you know, just put them away. And I just feel like we just get comfortable at times, and I don't get it. I don't know why. I just don't. And that's where, in hindsight, I wish I would have put in a couple different guys just to, you know what I'm saying? Guys that are hungry, guys that are going to just compete, right? Yeah, keep guys fresh mentally. And so that's certainly on me. Nobody does the substitutions but me. And change it up. One thing we've done a really good job with this year is I feel like is, for the most part, we keep teams out of a rhythm. Like, so with our pressing and with zone, and, you know, we go zone a few times, and they made us pay, you know, both times we did, and so it's like, how long do you stick with that? So I do think that's a big part of sports, though. We look, when they really came all the way back, certain guys were really talking, other guys kind of had this kind of look like, you know what I mean, where it felt like we were only down 2 or 1 or even tied, and we just had this bewildered look. And what we kept saying was, guys, we were down by 5 with, you know, 11 seconds to go against Creighton, and down by 5 with under a minute to go. Fairfield, we're down by 6 with less than a minute to go. Sam Houston, we're down by 5 with less than a minute to go. Force overtime. We've been able to always, you know, really push teams to the limit with comebacks, but we just had a different feel this time, and it's because we blew a big lead instead of coming all the way back.
I'm sure the guys will bounce back after this, but with so many road games coming up here, it would have been nice to get this one here.
It's a big game for us. I mean, 2 of our first 7 league games are on the road. I'm sorry, 2 of our first 7 are at home. So now you lose that one, and now 5 of your next 6 are on the road. Now we played well on the road. Our guys really, I think, are comfortable doing it because that's all we did for most of the preseason. I think we've had this is our 5th home game, I guess. We've had 10, on the road or neutral court games. But we're going to find out now, what we're made out of in a big time hurry. And Denver's really good. I don't know. They were up 9 when I came in here against a very good South Dakota State team. And being at Colorado State, we played those guys every year. I know what they do extremely well. We worked on their stuff on Tuesday, and to be quite frankly, we didn't defend it well at all. It's a very tough style to go against. So we were going polar opposites from, this team where it's like, you want to keep in the low 70s to win, and against Denver, you want to, if you feel like you can get to the 70s, you got a good chance to win because they just grind you out. They prey on teams that make mistakes. You got to be really disciplined defensively. You got to really want to play against their style. And so many teams just don't want to do that. But you're right. It's we're going to find out some things about our character, and we've done that all year. We started out 0-5 and lose a triple overtime game and a single overtime game, and it felt like you were just, beat up to death. And this one's going to be a tough one to swallow, but you can't let Omaha beat you twice. So we got to come back and be ready to roll tomorrow for practice.
Good first half, Craig. Obviously, those 8 threes definitely propelled you to
Yeah.
41-29 at halftime. What'd you tell the boys at halftime to keep them motivated?
Well, first of all, just stay the course. So A, get back on defense. B, guard the ball. Right. C, screen and roll defense is huge. 4, they're the best offensive rebounding team in the league, so we got to finish possessions. And then 5, we just got to stay in attack offensively, move. The one rut we had in the first half, we just literally stood. We started standing around. Tyler started over dribbling, and we were throwing skip bounce passes on the top, which is the slowest pass in basketball, and they're just picking them off going the other way a few different times. And then we subbed and went small ball, and that's when we made our run. We really pushed the tempo and offensively, and they lost Casper Bauer a few times, and we ran some sets that Boss hit a couple, and we weren't nearly on attack offensively, I didn't think, for a while, and we weren't making any shot. What did we shoot? 34%, on your home court. And I wouldn't say we had, I felt like we had a lot of open looks, but I felt like we settled a lot, especially early on.
You consider it all, you have 10 points with 15 minutes to go at all. Not to take yourself out of your own game, but at the same time knowing what they do and how quickly they want to run, slowing things down, getting a little more methodical.
Yeah, and it's a fine line, of course. But it was after that. I think it was the second timeout. I'm just like media timeout. That's what we talked. Like, why are we settling? We've showed you over and over when you just have any patience and any discipline, you can really live at the rim with these guys. Certainly, in hindsight, I wish we probably should have called more sets, like longer continuity kind of sets, to make them grind a little bit and defend. But motion's a way of life, and we're a motion team, and we've done a really good job against most teams of doing that. Milwaukee, we didn't settle and just start cranking them up. We had patience, we had discipline, and we just extended, Creighton, that's all we did in the second half, and just kept us in. But it can be difficult that way, and you're right, we probably should have ran a couple of our continuities more.
So you think your offense is impatience, maybe in the second half settling, gave them their legs back? Because in the first half, you were running a lot of action. They're defending you, and I don't think they like to defend that much. And so they're defending you, working. They come down, they're a little gassy.
Yeah.
They don't hit. Second half, you're going to run.
I definitely thought we were quicker. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And when you play in a transition team, you have to control tempo. And it starts with your offense, to be honest, right? Just make them defend for 20, 25 seconds, but you start taking quick shots, and you start missing quick shots, and jump shots, besides, feeds right into their transition game.
Tyler gets a big 3-point play, 71-70, but then Jake White goes down and hits a big shot, and that kind of propelled them going forward. But obviously that 3-point play give you some momentum.
Yeah, it did. I mean, it was a big and one, and tied it up. I think in that stretch too, we went 2 for 4 from the line, if I'm not mistaken. I think Brandon went 1 for 2, and Tyler went 1 for 2. You know, just to keep it even. We just couldn't, you know, get over. We just couldn't get stopped. I mean, the bottom line is, you know, we're fouling. They shoot 24 free throws, and we give up 61%. So the one reason we probably tied them on the boards is because they just didn't miss any shots, you know. But you got to give them credit. I mean, they're a team. No lead is too big. They're a team that when we're up 10, it feels like they're never out of it. But whether we're down 10, it feels like you're never out of it. It's just that's kind of the way they play, you know. And they can get it going like that. But we got to tighten up our defense in a major way.
You talked about tightening the rotation, maybe, you know, in hindsight a little bit more than you would prefer, but I mean, is there a plan for league play for you? I mean, is there a number that you're comfortable with, but that you go in hoping, hey, I want to play 7, I want to play 8, or does you just take what comes to you?
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of depends on the game. 8 to 9 guys, I would say, would be a normal deal. That's what we've been playing pretty much the whole time. But it just kind of depends on the ebb and flow of the game too, you know. And the way they can pressure and create turnovers, part of that, it played the guys that are a little more steady Eddie, you know, with passing and catching, making decisions, you know. And you just try the guys that we were playing and played the bulk of them minutes all year. And guys, for the most part, guys that have been there, you know, been there, done that. And so, but I should have just found ways to get some other guys more minutes, no question.
1 or 2 more?
They'd be a tough tournament team to knock out with them if they were in the tournament.
But yeah, I mean they're one of those teams that can beat anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But they also can, if they're struggling and you can make it a half-court game with them, then that doesn't play to their strengths. You know, and that's why I just felt like the first half we played to our tempo. You know, we held in the 20. It was 41-29, right? They had 30. I mean, not even 30 points. So if you can do that another half, or in that general ballpark, I mean, you're holding them at 60 to 65 points, right? And that's what then you feel like you got a good chance of winning that game.
You still weren't bashful to run with them. I mean, you ran with them and you could.
Right. You can be opportunistic against them because you can get easy baskets, right, with them. But and that's the hardest part as a coach, especially when we're at, what is that, game 15? So we're almost halfway through now. But still, it's still kind of new for everybody. And you still got to play disciplined basketball in terms of knowing how to play and what you need to do. And we lost a lot of our discipline, I felt like. And I should have did a better job putting them in more continuity stuff.